tassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay. Just going to put the chitta chart on the desktop. I hope that some of you have gone into the, all of you have looked at the link. I think it is a third link, which takes you to abhidhamma.org, which gives you access to, if you go to charts, you have access to all of the charts that you would need. Damsiri from Anuradhapura, you're joining us today. All right. So, so it gives you access to all of the charts that you need. You just have to go onto the website and then click on, onto your left, you will find a section called charts, and then you will find all the Abhidhamma charts, Chitta, Chaitasikas, Pali, English, right? But when we are learning, of course, the best way is for us to start with our own charts, right? Is to start with our own charts, and when we are comfortable with that, then we go on to using the charts that have been made. Just looking for the chitta. Do you remember which page the chitta chart was in, please? Yes, I will allow you to now unmute your mics. Page 28. Thank you very much. Who do not,
28. 28.
Yes, got it.
28.
Sorry,
28.
28.
Yes, 28 months.
Wonderful. Thank you. Page number 28. Now today we are starting off. We've done unwholesome universals. We have done, did we do greed?
I think we are on greed.
We are on greed. Lovely. Okay. So let us remind ourselves, let us now greed Chaitasika, right? Greed Chaitasika is by the word of it, right? By the word of it. It is to do with the attraction or the clinging attraction that we have to an object, right? So what All right. So greed. Now, Devika. So those of you who are not in noisy environments, you can unmute your mic. Right. So, okay, Padma, because your mic is unmuted, can you tell us, Padma, where does the greed Chetasika arise?
Well, in the first 8 unwholesome chittas.
Wonderful, Padma. Thank you very much. So the greed Chetasikas will all arise in the first 8 greed, unwholesome, greed-rooted chittas, right? That is quite clear, quite easy, right? And now we have wrong view, right? We have wrong view now. Dil, can we please do the wrong view for us, please?
So in those first 8 chittas, the wrong view would be the one with the Ditti Sampagati. So that's the first view.
Ditti Sampayutta.
Sampayutta.
Wonderful.
Yes. So that's
Right.
the first one. The second one.
Yeah.
And then you jump to, then it's the 5th one and the 6th one.
Yes, yes. The 5th one and the 6th one. So if we do remember, right? If we do remember, Somnasaga Dittigata Sampayutta Asankharaka, Somnasaga Dittigata Sampayutta Sasankharaka, Somnasaga Dittigata Vipayutta Asankharaka, Somnasaga Dittigata Vipayutta Sasankharaka, Upeka Saga Dittigata Sampayutta Sasankharaka, Upeka Saga Dittigata Sampayutta Sasankharaka, Asankharaka. Upeka Saga Dittigata Vipayutta Asankharaka, Upeka Saga Dittigata Vipayutta Sasankharaka. So there you have, where did you hear the Dittigata Sampayutta or with wrong view? You heard it on the 1st and the 2nd with regards to the consciousnesses with happiness, and on the 5th and the 6th with regard to the consciousnesses with associated with equanimity. Lovely. Thank you very much, Dil. Now, conceit, right? Anoma,
Mana.
could you do the conceit, Anoma?
Yes. Okay. Greed-rooted chittas.
Greed-rooted chittas.
Yeah, they're beyond greed-rooted chittas with 5 aggregates. Does it?
Greed-rooted chittas with 5 aggregates. No, 5 aggregates. Katha, there is no need to bring up.
No, yes.
Aggregates,
yeah.
Right. So if we look at the consciousnesses, right? If we look at the consciousnesses,
yeah,
we find now it says that it is in the 3rd, the 4th, the 7th, and the 8th, right? Can you tell me what the 3rd and the 4th consciousnesses are? Can you tell us, please?
Ditti Saha Vipayutta unprompted or prompted.
Dissociated from wrong.
Ditti Vipayutta.
Ditti
Vipayutta.
So conceit, right? Conceit here will arise with those consciousnesses which are devoid of right view, right? So Dittigata Vipayutta, right? Dittigata Vipayutta. So that is, then we have, how many Dittigata Vipayuttas do we then have in the greed?
10, 4, and 7, and 8.
4.
Right? We have 4.
Yeah, 4.
Right? 4. So if we are to perfectly know this, then the way to answer is, for example, you have to say Somanasagata Dittigata Vipayutta Asankharaka Somanasagata Vipayutta Asankharika Upeka Sagata Dittigata Vipayutta Asankharika Upeka Sagata Dittigata Vipayutta Sasankharika. Right? In that way, you must you will be expected to write it out, right? To write it out, right? All right. Thank you, Anoma. Moving on.
Thank you, Bhante.
Moving on. Now we move on to hatred, envy, avarice, and worry, right? And worry. Now these appear, remember the reason why this appears, this is called the dosa chatukka, right? It arises like a class, a group, right? Dosa chatukka, right? So now when we say, when we look at hatred, envy, avarice, and worry, these should and only will arise together with hatred. So how many hatred do the consciousnesses are there?
2.
2, right? 2. It will only arise in those 2. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah? It will only arise in those 2, right? Then what do we have? Then we have sloth and torpor, right? So okay, now hold on, Lettuce. Can you tell me, Lettuce, where do you think your mic is unmuted? Where do you think sloth and torpor will be found?
In all the prompted chittas.
In all the prompted chittas. Thank you very much, Lettuce. So then where do we find the Devika? Devika?
Yes.
Yes. Devika, can you tell us what the prompted chittas are now?
6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8.
The we were talking about the
Sasankharika chittas. Do you have the ability to name the Sasankharika chittas?
Yes. The Sasankarika ones would be the Somanatsa Sahagata. The prompted ones is in number 2.
Yeah.
There is one consciousness accompanied.
Can you tell us the name of the consciousness?
It's the consciousness, the second consciousness in greed.
Yeah. So the name of the consciousness Devika is Somana Sagata Dittigata Sampayutta
Sasankarika Sita.
Sasankarika Sita. Right?
Yeah.
That is the name.
Yes.
All right. So when we say what is the name of the consciousness, it should be the name that it is referred by. Right? Somana Sagata Dittigata Sampayutta Sasankarika Somana Sagata Dittigata Vipayutta Sasankarika Uppeka Sagata Dittigata Sampayutta Sasankarika Uppeka Sagata Dittigata Vipayutta Sasankarika.
Yes.
Right? Those 4 then come on to what? It comes into sloth and
torpor.
Right? Sloth and torpor. But not only that, we have one more. Where else do we find a prompted consciousness?
In number 10, the one consciousness accompanied by displeasure, associated with aversion, prompted.
Associated with aversion, prompted. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it is a hatred due to consciousness, right? Which is again prompted, right?
Yes.
Now, then we come on to the next Chetasika, which is doubt.
Doubt.
Right? Okay. Now, Ape Shriyani. Shriyani?
That's 11, only number 11.
Shriyani, could you please unmute your mic?
Vichikicha in 11.
Vichikicha, Sriyani.
Is in number 11?
Shriyani,
Doubt is 1.
doubt is absolutely, it is 1. Can you tell me the name of the consciousness, Shriyani?
Vichikicha.
Yes. So what is the full name of the consciousness? Vichikicha.
Upekasa.
Right? So Vichikicha.
Yeah.
Right? That is the name. Thank you, Shriyani. Right? And now we have done with the unwholesome. right? So now I think now as we do this in your mind, allow yourself to build a sort of a mind map of the fittings where you have the chitta and you have the suiting places that which chittas come into these chetasikas, right? Which chittas comes into the chetasikas, right? So now moving on to the beautiful, right? Now, who will do this? Samantha. Samantha.
Yes, Bhante.
Samantha. Now,
Yeah.
Samantha, please tell us, right? What the beautiful universal consciousnesses or mental factors, in which consciousnesses it arises. Can you first tell us a definition of what these beautiful universals are, please?
They're the Somanasas, Dominus. and then the Upekka.
No. Okay.
Oh.
So when we say definition, Samantha.
Oh yeah, in the sense, in the Arup.
No,
No.
it's the same sphere.
Yeah.
In the same sphere.
The definition of what is, okay, basically what is.
Oh yeah, it's
It is-
Kamavachara. The definition in the plane of Kamavachara. Sobhana.
Sobhana.
Sobhana Chitta.
Okay, so this is the definition. What is a beautiful universal? These are chetasikas or mental factors that arise associating all beautiful consciousnesses. That is-
Yes. Yeah.
Right. You don't need to say anything about Kama, Vachara, Panchaskanda, nothing of that, right? These
Yes.
beautiful factors arise associating all beautiful consciousnesses. That is why it is called a beautiful universal. Got that, Samantha?
Yes. Thank you,
Can
Bhante.
you
Yeah.
repeat it to us, please, Samantha? Now, what is a beautiful universal?
These are factors that arise, the chetasikas.
Mental factors.
Sorry. These are mental factors that arise in the
Arise associated.
associated. Yes, sorry, associated with the
all beautiful consciousness.
yes, all beautiful consciousnesses.
Dil, we can all hear you, Dil.
I didn't hear Dil. I didn't hear Dil.
Sometimes, on Zoom, you think this is like a classroom where you can whisper to friends. All right. Good. Right. So please remember, you have to be in Abhidhamma. It is very important. You have to be very, very specific, because sometimes unknowingly we can use another word which could mean an entirely different thing. Right?
Yes.
So you have to be very, very specific. So these are the mental factors which arise associating the all beautiful consciousnesses. That is it. Right? Now let us go. So then, how many beautiful consciousnesses? Okay. So the universal beautiful mental factors, right?
Yes.
Arises in how many consciousnesses then?
So we have 18 beautiful, 8 wholesome, 8 resultant consciousnesses, and 8 functional consciousnesses. So 24 consciousnesses.
Okay. So Samantha, now I would say the easiest way to do this is, how many consciousnesses do we have in total? Tell me.
89.
89, or with the jhanas, 121.
Yeah. So let's take the 121, right?
Yeah.
121, you minus 12 and 18, right? 121 minus 12 and 18.
18.
Right.
Okay.
That's 30.
101 minus 12
12,
minus 18 is
117.
No, it's
Is it?
120 minus 30.
okay. Let's do
Sorry, 121 minus 12
12.
is 109. Then,
91 Samantha.
oh, sorry. Oh,
Yes.
It's 91, right? So
oh,
if
okay,
we are-
91.
it's 91, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we are taking now, let's calculate in the 8. So let's take 81 consciousnesses. 81 minus
30. 30.
81.
30. 30. 30.
81 minus
30.
It's 89.
then
89.
51 consciousnesses we have that
Mm-hmm.
that arise, not 51 actually, it's 59.
59 it should be.
59 consciousnesses we have that arise associating, right? Or so
Yes.
basically you take all sobana. All sobana samantha is
Yeah.
everything after the rootless is sobana.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it? Everything
Yeah.
after the rootless is sobana.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
use everything before it and you take that number.
12.
Mm.
Right? There is nothing to think about it. Right?
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
just
Yes.
specifically know these are the categories in sobana. Anything
Mhm.
that is specifically used to develop something which is good is sobana. Take that minus the rest. That is your answer.
Answer. Okay. Lovely. Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Now, then we are going to the abstinences. Right? The abstinences. Mihiri.
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, Mihiri. Now, the abstinences, Mihiri, can you tell us what the abstinences are?
Yeah, so the abstinences are the chaitasikas that are associated with right speech, right action, and right livelihood.
Okay, very good. Right. So now, Mihiri, these consciousnesses, right? I'm sorry, these mental factors, where do they arise?
Well, they arise in the supramundane consciousnesses. All of the supramundane consciousnesses.
All of the supramundane consciousnesses. Okay, how much is there?
So that will be 8 if we take it as the.
So let's take 8. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's take 8, and
then so it will be in the pala, in the what do you call, the path, and in the fruitions.
good.
10.
No.
So it will be.
8 plus.
So it will be either there'll be 16, won't there? Because there'll be each of them.
Yes.
It should arise in if you are taking the consciousnesses.
40.
Yeah. So either 40 or well, it will be 48 actually.
No, 40 or 8.
It will be 16 or 48, I think.
8 or 40.
So please, now let us go from section. Now this is to get the number. Remember,
Yeah.
the number is not the important bit. It is how we get the number which is the important bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, all supramundane comes under this, right?
Yeah.
We know it is when. Now, okay. Tell me why all supramundane has these 3, Miri?
Because in order to in order to actually sort of abstain from these 3 actions, that is the speech, the right, it has to be Arya Ashtangika Marga has to be, it's a supramundane part has to be achieved. So it's not just the mundane one, it's a supramundane one.
Okay.
So you have to actually abstain from it not just, like say, for example, we take the precepts and we might just not say something that's wrong, but that's not what they're talking about here. When they say abstinences, they actually mean at the supramundane level, where you have actually got rid of, you're actually abstaining from and acting on just right speech, right action.
I understand that the clearest answer is the abstinences are a part of the Eightfold Noble. No, the middle.
Yeah. The Eightfold Noble Path. Yeah.
The Eightfold.
No, there are 3 only from that.
Yeah. So hold on, please. Relax. Right. The 3 abstinences are a part of the Eightfold Noble Path.
3 of them, yes.
Right. The Eightfold Noble Path should all arise within the consciousness which allows for path and fruition to take place. Do we understand that? We know that already, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it is when the Eightfold Noble Path, all parts of the Eightfold Noble Path activate itself within one consciousness. That is when the doorway into this element of Nibbana opens up to the mind. Right? That is why the abstinences are within the path and fruition. Got that, Miri?
Yes, I think so, Bhante.
That simple definition. So then we don't need to go on. No, it is part of the Eightfold Noble Path, and the Eightfold Noble Path exists within the path and the fruition. Now, what else? What else? What else, Miri?
Sorry, what else? I'm not sure about the question, Bhante.
What else? How many other consciousnesses have abstinence with them?
Oh, I see what you mean. You have, it will be the sense sphere beautiful ones will have. So the sense sphere beautiful, wholesome
consciousness.
Consciousness will have. Yes, because they are associated with wisdom. Well, jnana, they are jnana samprayukta ones. And they are both, is that the reason?
No.
I think, no. Or they are somanasa sahagata ones.
Don't focus on the consciousness, focus on the mental factor.
Oh, I see. So they are the sense sphere wholesome. Yeah, because they are wholesome factors.
No.
No, I don't know. I don't know, Bhante.
No? Okay, can anyone help out?
Not
Not Damsiri.
Not that.
Is it?
Try. Devika, can you try? Dil, can you try? Shirani?
Yes. Swaina said it is because number 31. It's because there's ottappa, like fear of wrong.
No.
And it goes down like that, and so.
No, we are not hitting it on the nail. We are not hitting it on the nail. There is one. I'm telling you, look at what is the mental factor. Look at the name of the mental factor. What is the name of that classification? Yes, Padma?
Abstinence.
Yeah.
Abstinence. Now tell me, right, how does one abstain?
By taking a precept or?
By taking a precept, by chaining oneself to the ground, whatever it is.
Sila being
Sila.
good.
Sila, how is Sila done?
By
abstaining.
How? Huh?
By abstaining.
By abstaining from doing things which are
Abstinence is an action.
Yeah.
Abstinence is an action, right? It has, because it is an action, it needs to be supported by that. That is why it is only within the wholesome factor. Do we understand?
Yeah.
Now, for example, you go to give alms, right? When you go, you respectfully dress yourself. You know, there is an abstinence there, right? You take sila, you meditate. There is an abstinence that you follow, right? But why isn't it in then the functional?
Interesting.
Why isn't it in the functional?
You don't have to abstain from it. In the functionals, it will be arahants. And so for arahants, because they've actually gotten rid of all the anusaya, they don't have to abstain. It happens automatically.
Lovely. Thank you. This was who was speaking just now?
Chamari.
Chamari. Thank you, Chamari. Correct. Because the abstinence to them comes naturally, right? There is no sort of abstinence required there, right? It is okay. I was wrong there. Tell me why I was wrong. Tell me now this statement I said, try to explain. What did I say wrong? Damsiri.
Sorry, I didn't capture that. And what did you say?
What I said was the abstinence comes naturally.
No, it comes with the
That they have overcome.
Huh?
It doesn't come naturally.
It's an effort. It won't come naturally.
Yeah.
No,
So it is now. That is what. Okay. So can we go further?
So the negative and the positive. So when you're in the positive,
It
is an action.
Overcome transgression, I think.
Okay. So okay. Now Chamari said that it doesn't come because they are enlightened, right?
Yes.
When you're enlightened, do you have to now force your mind not to do certain things?
No, it's conditioned.
No.
It's conditioned.
It comes with knowledge, Bhante.
It comes with the attainment.
attainment, yes.
Right?
Wisdom.
When you're an enlightened person. Because of that, abstinence does not have to arise.
Yeah.
Right? Abstinence does not have to arise. So if I continued on to say, abstinence arises naturally, that is wrong. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't arise because that conditioning is not necessary to stop the mind from anything. Right? It's a different height of mental operation altogether. Do we understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bhante, it is explained in Sinhala as aniyatai.
Yeah.
When it comes to wholesome consciousness,
Supramundane.
No. When it comes to wholesome, it's aniyatai, and when it comes to mundane, it's a niyatai. That means it's automatically it comes, right?
Automatically comes.
Yeah.
In the not that.
Other way around.
Not the. It's like this. For those of you who do not know niyata and aniyata, Damsiri, what's the English translation?
Abstinence and
No. Aniyata.
Niyata and aniyata.
Niyata means it's inevitable. Inevitable. Yeah.
Inevitable. Niyata is that it is inevitable, right? And aniyata is that it is evitable. Right? So now when we say why is it?
No, it's the other way, Bhante. Niyatai, something is certain, will happen.
Niyatai means it will happen.
So it comes.
Inevitable, yeah.
definitely
Inevitably will happen.
Right.
Right? So niyatai, aniyatai. There is potential.
The opposite.
So in that way, in the abstinences of of now, when you look at the chittas, right, you take the greed, you take the hatred, you take the delusion, you take all of the other parts, right? Now, with regards to these, right, the level that they operate on, now, let's say, okay, let's take hatred, right? Let's take hatred. There are people who will get so crazily mad that they would not think twice to take up a knife and do some harm to a person, right? But now, if I am to take myself for an example, that conditioning is not there, right? Potential is there, yes, but the conditioning is not there, right? I am not used to it. It is something that I dread, right? It is not in my way of mannerisms, right? So, in that, what it means is, although the condition itself does not arise as in abstinence, there is a level by which we do operate within the conditioning that we have altogether.
Yeah.
Right? Or else all of us will get mad the same way. All of us will cling on to things the same way. That does not happen. Right? That does not happen. So when it comes to something of the sort as abstinence, right, we have it in levels which operates without any promptedness or something. It's controlled by the conditioning of our minds, right? For example, an aristocrat will not eat like a, will not eat in a way that the table mannerisms are not followed. Someone who has gone through that, who knows how to behave, who knows the etiquette, will know how to behave and consume food in the proper manner. Do we understand this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Shriyani?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Moving on. Right? So we have abstinence in the great wholesome, as well as the 2008 path and fruition consciousnesses, supramundane. Yes, Padma?
Why is it not in the resultants?
The resultants, Padma, is a result of the energy produced. There is no abstinence as such. This is something which creates rebirth.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
No. Remember, when we use the word abstinence, there should be an action. Yam kisi kriyavak tiyenno.
Yeah.
Right? So in that way, an action can be produced only in the great wholesome.
Okay.
Yeah? In the great wholesome.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
moving on, we go into the illimitable.
Illimitables.
Right? Lakshman.
Yes, Bhante.
Lakshman, would you be able to do the illimitables for us?
I'll try, Bhante.
All right. Go ahead, Lakshman.
Inimitables are Metta, Karuna, Mudita, and Upeksha.
Okay.
Yeah, and also so that when we look at the sense spheres, it comes under the beautiful chittas, 31 to 38.
Shall we go by Lakshman, not
Yes.
the numbers? Shall we go by the category, please?
Sense sphere wholesome, beautiful chittas.
Yeah.
So it comes under that, and 31 to 38, and then sense sphere functional. That's 8 there, 47 to 54.
Okay.
And then from fine materials sphere chittas, it's there in the first four. That is the sustain, what do you call it, initial application, sustained application, zest and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's repeated in the fine material sphere resultants, the same four, and again in the fine material sphere functional.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, and then we move on to that's it, I think. But
that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but what can I ask a question, Bhante? I don't know why it's not included in the immaterial and the supramundane.
Okay. Yeah. So now these consciousnesses that we have gone through, they arise in the great wholesome consciousnesses, the beautiful great wholesome consciousnesses. They arise in the great resultant consciousnesses. They arise in the fine material, wholesome, resultant, and functional consciousnesses up to the fourth jhana, right? Up to the fourth jhana. Now, with regards to this concept, which is the illimitables, now why do you think these illimitables, right, do not arise in the sobhana, the supramundane path and fruition? Why do you think? Padma, do you have something to say?
Well, I read about it, and they said that in supramundane, that nibbana is the object. I mean, I didn't understand it very much, but that's the explanation given. That's why we don't have it. Yeah. But maybe you can explain it.
All right. So then Padma has come prepared for all of us. Right. So yes, exactly, because Nibbana now, when it comes to, for example, let's take, we have now mentioned that it arises in one, the beautiful, the great wholesome, and the functional consciousnesses. Here, these are beautiful consciousnesses, right? Beautiful consciousnesses, it is by these consciousnesses that we achieve or do something which is good and wholesome, right? Rooted in the three roots of non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion, right? When you are doing an action, when you are performing an action of good, in the performance of the actions of good, do you not find the illimitables? You do, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, metta, mudita, karuna, you will find these things, right?
Yes.
They will be there, right? They will be there. So that is why when you give, when you get used to giving, you want to give more and more and more, right?
Because of karuna.
So in that way, now, in terms of the fine material, in a similar way, the fine material, remember there are metta jhanas, right? Metta jhanas, these don't have nibbana as object. These have, what does it have as object?
Kasina.
The khasina of the object of meditation that we perform, right? The object of meditation that we perform. And in these meditations, we have metta meditation, which have 500 odd jhanas, right? All of which will then have these illimitables operating with them. Then we have, when you take the supramundane path, then it is a little bit different, because here the supramundane path and fruition has nibbana, or the attainment of enlightenment, as an object, to which metta, mudita, karuna, upekka, all of that are minor factors to that great grand achievement, right? Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
That is why we do not have, that is why we do not have the illimitables in that position. Moving on, wisdom, right?
Bhante,
Yeah.
Bhante, a question.
Yeah.
The really the illimitables in this, as far as the Chaitasikas are concerned, illimitables are actually two illimitables.
Yeah.
Compassion and appreciative joy, or karuna and mudita.
Karuna and mudita, yes.
And then when it comes to equanimity and what's the other one? Upekka and mind. Sorry.
No.
Metta. That comes under different category actually.
Yes.
Can you explain that?
Why it's coming under different category?
Yeah.
So why it's coming under different category is, now don't worry about the category. The categories are only made for our convenience.
Yeah.
Right? This is to say, now, for example, if we take non-greed or metta, right? That Chaitasika has the ability of performing a number of, or operating at different levels, right?
Bhante, non-greed is non-hatred, isn't it?
Non-hatred, right? So when you take non-hatred, it has the ability of operating in different levels, including metta. Do not think about the categories. The categories are for our convenience.
Okay,
right? It's for our convenience, right? Because the illimitables, it mentions, remember, in the point that in the description of it, this is regards to the other two as well, but you find that those two can do a little bit more than just these two. So you find it in a different section altogether, but will perform a similar action as this. Okay? All right, moving on.
Bhante,
Yes.
is Upekka the one that comes as the tranquility of consciousness, isn't it?
I have got you to Tatra Majjatata.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the translation. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Wisdom.
Right. That's the 34th one. Tatra Majjatata. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. So wisdom. Now wisdom, who will do wisdom? Noeline?
Yes, Bhante.
Noeline, could you do wisdom for us, please?
Yeah, 47, the total is 47. And it's a great wholesome 12, fine material 15, immaterial 12, and supramundane 8. Makes it 47.
Okay. So okay, Noeline. You've got all of that right. Can you then tell us, Noeline, how these consciousnesses got the wisdom in them?
By it's dhyana, and then by,
because they're wholesome.
So not all wholesome has wisdom.
One's with knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. So because of, if you would take the great wholesome resultant and functional consciousnesses, all with jnana sampayutta will be, what it means is that it includes knowledge, wisdom. I'm sorry, not knowledge, wisdom.
No.
Right? So we take that, right?
Okay.
Now, then what about the rest? Now we have all the consciousnesses in the Rupa Vachara, Arupa Vachara, as well as the supramundane that has this.
Yes.
Why do these consciousnesses have wisdom?
Because they're aiming for arahantship.
They're aiming for arahantship. Yes.
To gradually get into the dhyanas.
Okay, Devika, when we say aiming for arahantship, and when we are talking generally about fine material, immaterial, and the supramundane, then that answer will not be correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the jnana sampayukta.
So, with regards, can anyone else, Padma?
No,
No?
no.
Yani? Lettuce?
No, sorry,
Hemali?
Bhante.
Lakshman? Miri?
Is it because of the aim of nirvana?
Because it's with regard, it's due to panya.
Every one of you knows this. It is so simple.
But is
See,
it
anicca, dukkha,
delusion has
You
been
have listened to the Bauddha Nalika, you know this.
no, the moha has been got rid of. Delusion has been got rid of.
So okay, delusion has
but-
been. Is it only delusion that we try to get rid of?
No, greed and hatred.
no, and the greed, hatred, and
Greed
the
and hatred
delusion.
as well.
Okay, who is the person who said delusion has been got rid of?
I did, Mihiri.
Miri, Hari. Miri. Now, just to fine tune it, okay? If we say delusion has been got rid of, right? Please take a look at the rest of the consciousnesses in the Sobhana Chittas, right? Where delusion is not there, but wisdom is not there either.
You mean the jnana viprayukta ones?
They are jnana vipayuttas.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So because of that, Miri, please note, everyone, please note, just because delusion is not there does not mean wisdom is there.
Yes, I get it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There is another reason. All of these practices, fine material, immaterial, and sobhana, are all done to get rid of the kilesas. That is your answer. Right? Because the practice to get rid of the kilesas, there must be wisdom in there of a certain understanding to tell you, get rid of them. Or this is how you get rid of them. There is a wisdom implicated, right? There is a wisdom implicated. But with regard to, then let us look at the jnana vipayutta chittas, right? The jnana vipayutta chittas, you do something, you don't have the wisdom for it. Can that kind of action take you towards nibbana? No, it can't.
Really, no.
It can't help you in nibbana. Do you get it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Bhante?
Yeah.
Bhante, can you explain it in other way also? Because you are in this fine material and immaterial and supramundane, you are in the process of developing your wisdom.
Okay. Okay. So, wisdom again operates in different levels.
Yeah.
To even sit down for 5 minutes to say, I'm going to develop meditation, needs a bit of wisdom.
Oh, I see.
Right? So this does not, this relates to the great amount of wisdom as well as the hina, weak amounts of wisdom as well. Right? That is why in every, so we are in a progressive path of developing wisdom, all right. You know, deeper we go, we understand the realities deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah?
Yes.
Bhante,
yes.
Does that mean at that stage, is that the elimination of all the 10 fetters?
No.
The elimination of the 10 fetters happens through the all
the 4 parts, is it?
The 4 parts and fructions. Actually, yeah, it
Yeah.
happens to that supramundane path, not through the jhanas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, not through the jhanas. Right. So now, so this is wisdom. Do we have any questions?
What do you mean? When you say kilesas, what can you explain?
Hindrances.
Pardon?
Hindrances.
Hindrances. Okay.
Hindrances. We can use kilesas, ogres, yogas, panchanivarna, all of these things. Any sort of defilement, basically.
Yeah, thank you.
Right? Any sort of defilement. Right? Now, I want you to tell me how many of you were lost during this part. You were absolutely lost. Okay, Shriyani. Anyone else? If your cams are off, you can just, Anoma, you were a bit lost as well. Who else? Even if you are to just use your emojis, so
Yes,
Anoma,
Bhante.
Shriyani. All right. All right. Samantha, you were lost? Okay.
Some bits.
Some bits?
I got some bits and pieces here and there.
All
but
right.
I think I worked it out through the explanation sort of things.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So Samantha, Anoma, and Shriyani. So
And Hemamali.
and Hemamali also.
Yes, little bit. Little bit.
Hemamali, your best friend is becoming a professor. How can you be weak, huh?
I am proud of her.
All right. So for those,
I was a bit lost as well.
of you,
Nihal and Buddhika as
Me
well.
too, Bhante.
Nihal and Buddhika.
okay, for those of you who have found it difficult, right, and who need a little bit of help, it is not at all difficult. You just need to know the definitions of the consciousness and the mental factors, what they stand for, and you can connect it quite easily, right? But if you need help, right, Dhamsiri has volunteered to offer his services in terms of helping you guys out, right? So get in touch with Dhamsiri and do a little bit of revision through this, get that sorted, right? Get that sorted, get it sorted a bit. And then we are, of course, our next class next week, we are going to start the other technique, right? Where we will now, in this technique, we have been looking at, we've been taking each Chetasika mental factor and addressing what consciousnesses fall within the Chetasika. Next week, we are going to take each consciousness and then start with, and then look at what mental factors fall into these consciousnesses, right? What mental factors fall onto these consciousnesses. So, through the week, get in touch with Dhamsiri, right? If you have any questions or something like that, they have mentioned that it's very easy for them to house party, right? House party is an app, right? House party is an app that you can easily download, right? And that is more easier than, than Zoom, right? Or you can, I don't know, discuss with them about how all of you could maybe get together and just have a revision class amongst yourself and get it sorted. But remember, next week, when we start again, you're going to be revising this again, right? All the consciousnesses, but we are going to shift the tables and do it in a different way, right? Where we then look at the consciousnesses and then take the mental factor. So you will get a little bit of revision there, right? So don't worry about it. The first thing is believe that you can do it.
Do it, yes.
Believe you can do it. Right? Believe that you can do it. It is not rocket science. You just need to get that foundation and you're set, right? You're set. So don't worry about it. Have that confidence. You guys can do it. And you guys can do it, right? Basically, yes. So then I will see you all next week. Oh, do we have any questions? No? Yes, David.
Bhante, what's the sutra that you're going to do? If you give us the name in advance.
I will put that up. I will put that up.
Please,
But
Yeah.
so that we can look it.
Nihal?
sorry
Yeah.
interrupt. It is starting time 7:30.
No. Today I had a meeting, Nihal. Very sorry. It did.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
And so we will be starting usually as normal 7 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Hari, do we have any other questions? Does anyone have any questions? Good. So then we will all meet each other again on Sutta class day. And remember, do get in touch with Dhamsiri. I'm sure, you can find his number or get in touch quite easily, Dhamsiri or Mala, and get that help that you need to sort of understand whatever questions that you have. Right. And you might be thinking, don't think, why is Dhamsiri getting, because Dhamsiri has already done this with me before. Right. And
2 years ago.
2 years ago, he has already done it, and keenly he has been able to go through the book and keep it alive. Right. So because of that, he has the ability to teach you guys. So if you do need help, he can answer your questions and all of that. So, but don't worry about it. We can also sort of do it together when we also revise a whole section on the Sangha. But try to, you have not been able to contribute much to this whole section, try to contribute to the next. You must put this failure thing aside, the fear of failure aside, and really try. You have to try, right? You have to do it, or else the thing is it won't pick for you, right? Just like, for example, I remember when I just started in the Abhidhamma, right? I did not get a thing about it, and get a thing of it. And then the monk was like, why don't you start meditating, right? And then I did start meditating, right? And he was like, okay, when you meditate, you watch your mind, you do a bit of Chittanupassana. And then it picked how it worked, what that law of, not that I saw deep into what a consciousness is, and I was able to break it apart in terms of the Chittakkanas, not because of anything like that. It was the fact that it just made sense now, because I was able to sort of look at my mind in a slow motion sense, if you understand what I mean. Where I understood, this is actually the reason behind, this is the root behind my irritation, this is the root behind my attraction, in that way. Then it started making a whole lot of sense, right? A whole lot of sense. And remember, you're learning the Abhidhamma for yourself, not for anyone else.
Yes.
Right? That is very important, because when you understand it about yourself, it's very easy to relate it to the whole entire world around you, right? So don't think about, so learn it in the way that you're relating it to yourself, because all of these things that we talk about are elements of our existence. All right?
Yes.
Yeah?
But
all right. So then take care. Good night. Have a pleasant rest of the evening. And I will see you all on
Wednesday.
Also, I'm planning about a 2.5 hour metta day, right? 2.5 hour metta day, right? So I'm just planning it out, right? So I will keep you posted on that as well, because we have a couple of days, we have a couple of days. You might have noticed that we have not really been engaging with the POE programs, because all these other temples, they have POE programs running. I don't feel a need for us to do one as well, so we are already doing classes throughout, but we will have a special metta day where we will be sort of doing metta, a lot of metta. All right, so I'll keep you guys in that. All right,
and Dhamma Sakachas would be excellent.
Yes, so Dhamma Sakachas would be good. I think, you guys can do it without me.
Oh, we need you.
This is the time that I think Katarakamoda Yunana Hodai Kela.
But it's not too late. Not too late.
Not too late to grow 7 hands.
If you so desire, you can do it, Bhante. You know that.
All right. So, okay, so I will see you all day after tomorrow, okay? So,
Bhante, next Metta Day is like what the others have, like a universal day of where you have radiate to the whole world at this time.
No, not about the world. We will do the world second place. First place is us, right?
Us.
So, not about anything else, of course, but basically about metta, different ways of metta, techniques of metta, discussing metta, right?
Right. Thank you, Bhante.
Experience.
Thank you, Bhante. That's
very
nice.
useful. Thank you
Nice.
very
Yeah.
Thank
That'd
you.
be good.
Good night. Take care.
much.
Bye.
Okay, good night.
Bye.